It's Saturday, March 18th, and my name is Bill McCamley. I'm a state representative from Las Cruces and Mesilla here in New Mexico with your legislative update for the day. So our 60-day session is over. The Constitution requires that we have to, as I said, gavel down and end the session at noon on the 60th day, and that was today. And we're all exhausted. I've been working really, really hard these past 3 or 4 weeks, especially getting a bunch of stuff passed. I'll be back at you in the next day or two with some of my own accomplishments I'm pretty proud about, but I just want to talk about the overall deal coming out of the session. So if y'all remember, when we went in, the state was in a massive fiscal crisis because of our over-reliance on oil and gas dollars and the drop in those prices. In the first 10 days, we were able to scrabble up some money and be able to make sure that we weren't allowing our treasurer to break the law by writing hot checks. And we spent the rest of the session really trying to find ways of coming up with a budget for next year that was going to be, fiscally responsible is the term we use, and we did that. One of my priorities coming in was to create a budget with no more cuts to our schools. And what we sent up to the governor in terms of the House and the Senate and the legislature was a budget that actually raised budgets for schools and actually gave back the money that we took from them in the solvency part of which was the budget crisis we had for this budget year. So we were able to do that, and I think that's a pretty good thing considering the problems we were having. We passed a lot of job creation bills focusing on the things that we heard from businesses and economic development folks around the state. More funding for the Local Economic Development Act and more money for job training incentive programs, and some bills that modified those that allowed them to be used better, one of which was mine. We were able to pass and get industrial hemp research at New Mexico State University legal. The governor tried to veto it, but she didn't give a message, so that actually should become legal. And that'll help farmers across the state, and especially New Mexico State, which is in my district, do the research that we need for this really good industry. We worked really hard on broadband, trying to get some bills done to get more access to broadband internet, which is something that a lot of folks talked about. And then I had a bill passed that'll allow us to expand the hours down at the sanitary supportive entry. Remember, trade with Mexico has been one of our bright spots over the past few years, and we need to kind of do what is working and do it better. I really worked hard to defend people and defend people's definition of who they are as people. So when you talk about when the president was talking about a Muslim ban, we really fought that. When the president was getting his immigration people to go door to door and ask people for their papers and detain folks, we fought that. We did a couple of bills late in the session really defending folks with different sexual orientations and their ability to be who they are in a society. It's really easy for us to dehumanize other people, and I think it was one of my goals in the session and one of the legislature's goals to really remind people that people are people. And let's take the hard way out and really have some empathy for others, and that was done a lot during the session. Defending working folks, we tried really, really hard to not pass bills that would have dropped wages and pass minimum wages, another thing that would raise people wages. No one working 40 hours a week should live in poverty, and we want to try to help develop an economy that works for everybody, not just those at the top, and did a bunch of things to help with that. Also passed some stuff. Well, didn't pass some stuff. We got some discussions going. We moved forward with the cannabis discussion, moved forward with the aid and dying discussion, and some out-of-the-box discussions about what to do with some of our permanent funds in terms of investing in people. And these are long-term projects that sometimes take years to pass, but those really went forward. So that's kind of where we're at. Going to take some time to decompress, not wear a tie for a few days at least. And I'm getting my traditional Rudy's barbecue here in Albuquerque, which is what I always stop to do when we're done with the session. So thank you all so much for your participation in the government that we need to make everybody work. And I can't tell you how much of a privilege it is to represent you all in a body that works so hard to try to make life better. Appreciate it, and as always, if you have questions, comments, or concerns on these or any of the issues, I'd love to hear back from you, and hope everyone's having a wonderful and beautiful New Mexico Saturday afternoon. Bye.